Welcome to another episode of whatever this is. I think this would be a Clean Burning HFIL, technically. I'll tell you what. Today, we're going to do something we've only touched on a little bit. You and I haven't talked a lot about Super. It comes up in most of our topics, but only little bits.
Yeah, I think we did have a bit of a talk about it when I was still over in Washington.
Yeah, but I'm talking recorded-wise.
No.
I think we've brought it up during our Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z sagas, but more as just kind of how things from Dragon Ball kind of popped back. Other than that, and we talked about the beginnings of it because the last Dragon Ball Z movies are the first two Dragon Ball Super arcs.
Yeah.
So I guess I also wanted to very briefly mention that after the end of Dragon Ball Z, the World at Peace arc, those last 4 or 5 episodes, we got Dragon Ball GT as the first sequel series. Dragon Ball GT was certainly a mixed bag. Have you seen all of GT?
I think I've never seen the lost episodes.
Ah, well. The last episodes were basically just them kind of blasting into space looking for the Black Star Dragon Balls. They were definitely trying to recapture Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
Which, right down to bringing back Pilaf, Mai, and Shu, and making Goku a kid again. And it's just not what the end of Z promises. To be fair, the end of Z basically promises the end of Z.
Yeah, the end of Z also promises more oob.
Yes, which we don't get. We get little bits of oob, to basically leading up to a moment where he and Majin Buu fuse, permanently, which is an interesting idea.
Yeah, kind of a sad moment too, because of Buu and Mr. Satan's relationship.
Yeah, and there's a lot of moments like that in GT. The Black Star Dragon Balls end up causing such a problem that the Earth is blowing up.
Yeah.
So to save everybody, Piccolo lets himself die on the exploding planet, so the Black Star Dragon Balls can't be used again. Which I don't really understand how they would still be there if he fused with Kami.
No, it's been a while, so...
Yeah.
I don't remember if there is any good logic, or...
Maybe they were made before Kami and Piccolo split, but even that seems like a poor through line for that one.
Yeah.
But anyway.
I also recall there being a moment where Piccolo wasn't getting his way in some reason, and he's in the other world at this point, so he's like, oh yeah, well maybe I'm gonna turn evil again, and he starts blasting things and laughing evilly, and then he just pauses for a moment and goes, sorry, King Yama. I don't remember the context, but
I don't. It's been so long since it's only been a few years since I watched through GT, but I'll tell you what, the good stuff is not very memorable, and the bad stuff is also overall not very memorable. I think that's the biggest problem, is GT is not memorable except for being a lot of missed potential.
Yeah, one of my favorite Dragon Ball YouTubers is going to be doing a series on GT soon, so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. It promises a return to adventure, which it doesn't deliver on. It starts to introduce a little bit of more lore. One of the more interesting parts is Baby, I think.
Yeah.
But even that's not super interesting, especially because it just kind of results in Goku versus Vegeta in its own way, again.
Sort of.
And, yeah.
Baby very much... Vegeta gets so morphed by Baby that I don't even consider it that.
That is fair. It's so rough because Vegeta gets done real dirty in GT, extra dirty.
He really does.
They give him a mustache. They cut his hair, despite the fact that they make a point in Z to talk about Saiyans having pride in their hair and like it doesn't grow and things like that, and he just like buzzes it almost. Makes it like
Yeah.
a flat top. It's so
Yeah,
strange.
everyone kind of has this weird straight up Spikes hair. Like Gohan has it, Goten sorta has it, Vegeta has it now.
Yeah. We do get the introduction of Super Saiyan 4, which
Yeah, I do like Super
is
Saiyan
one of the
4.
few things. Yeah, it's one of the few things that people pretty universally agree on is a cool addition to the franchise. It's a more primal look. It doesn't make sense why Goku becomes an adult during it.
No.
But I think they just wanted I think they realized they shot themselves in the foot. Despite the fact, I think GT takes place in a very low span amount of time.
Yeah. Like,
I
what do you
think
mean?
events just keep happening. Like there's the Black Star Wish, and then if it's all happening, every event I think happens right after another. I don't think it really takes a breath.
Okay.
Otherwise, why wouldn't they just wish Goku back to being an adult?
That's true. That's
Because
true.
when they
Why don't
do-
they ever do that?
Because when they do finally get the Dragon Balls, they introduce the Dark Dragons or Shadow Dragons or whatever they call them.
Yeah.
Which is another interesting idea. The Dragon Balls not being meant to be used as much as they are, so they get corrupted by like vanity and like greed, essentially. Even though the wishes were mostly used for good.
Yeah. I thought it was that, like, there weren't enough bad wishes or something, and, like, all the good wishes are become unbalanced or something weird like that.
I think it was more like they had to almost like detox. Like the Dragon Balls weren't made when a radar was considered. So their power got used up a lot and they had to essentially like recharge, and a year is enough for the balls to like recharge to be used, but it didn't like purify the energies in them or something. I don't know. It's weird. It's an interesting idea, but a weak explanation, I think.
Yeah, that's obviously an excuse they made up in order to have this arc happen, but
Exactly. Which results in really lame dragons with like 3 interesting dragons, one of which being an ice version of the other cool dragon. We get Nova Shenron and like Ice Shenron, and Ice Shenron is just Nova Shenron but ice.
yeah, it's a shame because it's a really cool idea and all, and of course the 4-star one is the one that got the most attention.
Naturally, which I mean, I don't hate that. Like, it's the one that has the most meaning to Goku.
Yeah.
So bringing that around, being that that's the one that has a little bit of a redemption, I think that kind of works. Being held in like Goku's presence for so long, I don't know if that's what they were going for, if they were just like, huh, the 4-star ball, you know.
Yeah.
But you can
Just like that
some thought
internet
into
video
it.
group.
Oh yeah,
It's a reference to them, right?
it must be. But GT also has arguably the best ending to a Dragon Ball series.
Yeah.
Where it goes way in the future, and I guess the good part of the ending more so is like where Goku says goodbye to all his friends. Him being on Earth is potentially just a danger, which was kind of his idea behind leaving or not being wished back in the Cell Saga way back when.
Yeah.
And then he confusingly gets the Dragon Balls absorbed into him, but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
GT is definitely interesting ideas, but poor execution with a lot of like bad ideas mixed in.
But hey, at least Goku still seems pretty consistent from Z.
Yes, his character still seems like Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z Goku for the most part. Even when he's aged down, he seems like adult Goku. Like he still had all those experiences. I'm not going to say it's perfect writing all the way through, but his character at least seems like Goku.
Yeah. Which can't really say the same for Super.
Right. GT has basically been written off as non-canon nowadays. which is fine. I don't think very many people are going to be upset about that. You get a few apologists out there here and there, but now we're kind of went by, no Dragon Ball Z, no Dragon Ball stuff really in sight. You get a few maybe specials here and there, but then we get Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods.
Yes, and I really like this movie.
It's a great movie, one of the best Dragon Ball movies in the lineup. I think it was your second favorite, right?
I want to say so.
Yeah, at least when we did that list. I know the first Cooler is your favorite.
Yeah.
I think it might have been my second favorite. It was up there, though. And it was a really good return to form. It wasn't well talked about before it came out, but it was a pretty big hit, so everybody kind of knew there was going to be more. And then we get Resurrection F.
Yeah, we sure do.
Has, again, kind of its moments. The biggest problem being it shafts Vegeta, and the stakes are very low because of circumstances given.
Gee, I sure hope that doesn't become a recurring thing.
Then we get, now that those two movies are out of the way, Dragon Ball Super is officially announced. So we then get a repeat of Battle of Gods and Resurrection F in serial form.
And they are inferior, I think.
Yes, overall, I would say that is true. They are more drawn out. They change a few things, maybe a couple things for the better, but I couldn't really tell you what. Overall, I think it's just these plots were made a certain way, and now they've got to make it into story arcs, which overall does not work. And most people will agree.
There was a cool thing in the Battle of Gods anime adaptation where where Goku and Beerus were like fighting so hard that they were like causing a black hole or something.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. But it also changed how...
I skimmed over that section when I was watching the anime because I had already seen it, basically.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know why I went through all of it.
What I do like is in the Resurrection F arc, there's some foreshadowing when Whis is doing training with Vegeta and Goku. They talk about Ultra Instinct a little bit during that time.
True.
And it's brief, it's one of those things you would think would come up during the fight with Frieza, but it doesn't, so it just kind of disappears after a while.
Yeah.
And it makes sense why it doesn't come up with Frieza, because Goku and Vegeta literally have the upper hand over him the entire time. They're literally toying with Frieza. And part of that is, even though Frieza might technically have a similar power level to them when they're in Super Saiyan Blue, his power is limited in how long he can last in that form, whereas Goku and Vegeta say, like, yeah, we can stay in this form indefinitely.
God, I'm so over Super Saiyan Blue.
I think it's an interesting look.
The gold just looks better.
Agreed. And I even think the red looks better. I know you have pretty negative feelings toward the original Super Saiyan God form, but I like the sleek design, and I like the color of it. It gives me a little bit of Kaioken vibes with a more elegant note. But that arc also gets resolved with time travel, which... saying like, yeah, I know we were blowing up the planet here, but just go back 15 minutes and don't let him blow up the planet. Yeah. Really bad. So after that, we're kind of like, oh man, maybe Super isn't going to be very good, despite all our hopes. And we get into... is that when Goku Black comes in?
No, we get the Universe 6... tournament.
Oh, yeah. Overall, pretty forgettable. Nothing. But we do get the introduction of the Universe 6 Saiyans with Kaba, which I think Kaba's a good character.
Yeah, I liked the tournament.
I think part of the problem is it kind of sets up Piccolo to be a fighter, and he gets beaten by... is it Frost?
Yeah.
by a poison needle.
Frost. Yeah. Piccolo loses to Frost cheating, and then Vegeta's like, "You're bowing out so I can fight him,
Yeah.
right?" And then Piccolo's like, I guess I am. You're gonna kick my butt if I don't, aren't you?
It's hard to see because Frost is potentially set up to be an interesting character. Like, the idea of a good Frieza is interesting, but he's not
Yeah, a lot more
than
interesting
another bad
than
Frieza. Yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
like Vegeta not trusting him and like having to come to terms with, okay, this guy looks just like Frieza, but he's okay.
yeah, I think that would have been
like
fun.
that would be a lot more interesting. Yeah.
We get the Heat guy.
Hit.
No, not Hit. There's a
Oh.
literally a guy who does
Right.
Heat, and then there's a guy that like can't be affected by physical moves essentially, or something like that.
Yeah, Mr. Hart from Fists of the North Star, basically.
Yeah. But we get some creative ideas of how to defeat these enemies. It's just kind of, you see more creative ways to defeat enemies in better animes. But then we do
Yeah,
get
like
hit.
in Fist of the North Star, where he just kicks him a bunch, and so that the fat part's enough for him to poke him.
We do get Hit though, and Hit is an interesting character. Not very well fleshed out, but I like the idea of this time-skipping bounty hunter existing in Dragon Ball.
Yeah, he's cool, and that's about all he's got going for
And
him.
cool is enough sometimes.
Yeah,
Dubbed by...
it helps that he's also Matt
I was
Mercer.
going to say
Yeah,
dubbed by Matt Mercer, who is a very good voice actor. Big fan. Is a main character in my favorite video game, so that's also a plus.
Oh right,
He's Chrom.
Fire
in
Emblem.
Yep. I think after that Universe 6 tournament, is that when we get Goku Black?
It is, yes.
Okay. And Goku Black, I think, is an arc that starts off very good. I know there was some mixed feelings about Goku being evil, but we get enough kind of otherworld stuff with the Kais, and a little bit more like God of Destruction stuff.
Yeah,
But
and
the
Supreme Kais, and that system makes no sense
no,
given what we knew from the boos and all that, because apparently there's supposed to be 4 Supreme Kais, but now there's only 1 in each universe, and they're tied to the God of Destruction for some reason.
and like I understand them wanting to connect the things because you've now introduced it, the God of Destruction. It kind of makes you wonder, what are the Kais even doing? Like, what is this balance? But yeah, when you look at Kid Buu, and all that stuff, and you have 4 Supreme Kais facing this one thing, and other universes have 1 or like 1 and an apprentice kind of thing. It's very strange, and I think I know Toriyama's very bad about remembering what he's already written.
Yeah.
So you can kind of chalk it up to that.
Always two there are, a master and an apprentice.
Which we now kind of have that in new Dragon Ball Z arcs, I guess, or Dragon Ball Super arcs. I guess the writer for the manga right now is a big part of... Do you remember Dragon Ball AF?
Oh, right, yeah, that fan thing.
Yeah, he's a big part of that community, or I think he was a big start of it.
Okay. So, like, stuff like Super Saiyan 5 and 6. And
yeah.
all those ridiculous levels.
Yeah, there's like Super Saiyan 100. But the big problem with like Goku Black, Future Trunks saga, is we get the return of Trunks, which is neat for fans of Trunks.
Yeah, but he looks weird.
I guess he looks a little closer to like how the manga like was gonna portray him, because I think originally he was actually, I don't think it was that he was gonna have blue hair. I think it was originally in the manga Bulma had purple hair. So
yeah, Bulma's hair is also blue in this, and it's not like the same blue as it was in the anime, so it's just weird. And Trunks' hair is blue now too,
despite the fact that his kid self is still got the purple hair.
Yeah.
It's all weird, and the biggest problem with the Goku Black arc is they go back and forth to the future like 4 times. Like, we're gonna beat him, get their butts kicked, and go back. We're gonna beat him, get their butts kicked, go back. We have a new plan, get their butts kicked, go back. Let's
use the hyperbolic time chamber until we're strong enough to beat him, like it's us playing Dragon Ball Z when we're kids.
Yeah, pretty much. Then they come up with to use the Mafuba, and Goku forgets the jar. Like, there's not a jar that exists in the future, I guess.
They do find one.
So what's the big deal?
Yeah. And they do it, but then, oh god, his name, Zamasu, just gets out anyway, so.
Oh, gosh. And then we do get to see the return of Vegito, and he gets about as much screen time and effectiveness as he does in Super Buu arc, so it's cool.
Yeah. I still love Vegito, though.
I think the Super Saiyan Blue actually works really well for Vegito.
Yeah, even though his clothes here don't make sense because they're wearing different things, and his clothes is supposed to be like a combination of what they're wearing at the time.
Yeah. But that's fine. Like, whatever. It's such an iconic look at this point. I feel like they were just trying to, like... So, I guess technically he should have had probably some sort of armor on, because Vegeta was wearing, like, the blue tank top in Dragon Ball Z, where I think they were in the Saiyan armor and Goku's usual gi in Super.
Yeah. I will say, though, that I really like Zamasu as a villain.
Yeah, and voiced by James Marsters in the dub, who was Piccolo in Evolution, so he got a little... They at least tried to give him a redemption in the Dragon Ball world, because he is a fan of the series. And I don't think he did a bad job. I think he did a good job. He was just kind of given a poor story again.
Yeah, I really enjoy Zamasu, and I really liked Sean Schemmel's portrayal of Goku Black at the beginning. I don't like how he turns a little more British when he goes rosé.
He gets a little bit of his Crowler voice from GX.
Yeah.
Sounds like he should be talking to those Slifer slackers. And then it all just kind of gets resolved by calling upon the what is the Omni King, which I don't
to just fix everything.
Hate, because I do kind of like the Omni Kings, and it was at least a creative way to finish it without just being another like beam struggle or trapping him in a jar. So I'll give it points for at least I wasn't seeing it coming, and it was kind of established beforehand without just being like, you fix it.
Yeah, it was also interesting how they tried a true immortal villain where, like, you know, you can't just fight him because you can't hurt him. I also just really like the Zamasu moment where he's like gloating and everything, and Goku and Vegeta start talking and planning, and Goku Black is like, you know, they're not listening. Is like, oh no, I'm mostly talking for me.
So I'm not gonna call that arc bad, but
it's not. It doesn't hold up to a rewatch.
Yes, it was fun to watch the first time because you kind of are waiting to see the next episode, but if you're like binging it, it's hard to watch. I think then we get to like the weird arc where you get the purple Vegeta guy.
Yeah, that they like have in between filler arcs, even though it's not really going one to one.
The manga, I think, wasn't even really like, it was out, but it wasn't really doing any, like, the series was way ahead of the manga, so there's no real reason for this sort of filler arc to exist. The only thing I like about it, because otherwise it's a really trash arc, is the voice actor for the fake Vegeta. I think is the Ocean dub, right?
Brian Drummond. Yeah, Brian Drummond. And I actually really like that Vegeta.
I think that was a fun thing to bring back for, like, especially OG fans who know.
Yeah.
So good for them there. Otherwise, the rest of the arc is trash because it just, again, we got another Goku versus Vegeta, but not really. So we can pit them together, but you know Goku's gonna win because we don't have to... Is Vegeta as strong as Goku? We don't have to play with that question. We just have to have Goku win.
Yeah, the Ocean dub did have some pretty good voices, I think. Like, namely Vegeta. Sure, there are some lines that are not
sure.
great, like, your father was a brilliant scientist.
You can chalk that up to direction, though.
But, yeah, but, there are times where he's really good. Like, apparently the Ocean dub got all the way to the, Buu Saga in some parts of the world, and his delivery of, people of Earth, put your hands up in the air or we're all gonna die, was really good. And as well as his freak out on Namek when he realizes Gohan took the Dragon Ball.
I'll have to look that up. That sounds like it could be really well delivered.
Oh, it was really good. Like, his screaming is just... mwah.
Yeah, the voice actors in the Ocean dub, because I think the actor who did Goku actually did Cyclops in X-Men Evolution as well.
And also Rolf in Ed, Ed and Eddie.
Wow. But, like...
this humble son of a scientist.
No dishonor to the Ocean dub. They did what they were basically told to do. Anime had not made it really in American culture yet, so good for them for trying. And honestly, some of it is still iconic to me. Like, that's how I started, was with the Ocean dub way back when.
Yeah, and it was during the whole parents freak out about violence on TV, so they had to censor everything, and it's okay, I can see their parachutes and all that.
Right. We kind of got into filler a little bit. The Dragon Ball Super does have one of, like, the best quote-unquote filler mini arcs, which is the baseball. Is it a few episodes, or is it just one episode? If it's only one episode, it's very well paced for an episode.
I'm pretty sure it's one episode.
Well, it's extremely well done.
Yeah, it's funny.
Dragon Ball and baseball go very well together, because we also got, in Z, we've got Gohan playing baseball. With
Gohan?
In Z, when he's in high school.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's...
Goku, Goku, Yamcha is a baseball player in the beginning of Z, which might have threw you off when I said that.
Yeah, I remember in the high school bit.
Yeah, with Freddie Mercury in there. But that's one episode, maybe two, I don't really remember. And then I think we get a few kind of episodes meandering around before... I think after that, we basically get to the Universe Destruction arcs, the Universal Tournaments.
Yeah.
Where we have build-up of, like, gathering the team, which is interesting, but power scaling just goes out the window at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it was already way out the window when Goku Black was like, I can feel so much power, and then he blows up like a building. And it's like, yeah, I remember when Frieza cut a hole in the planet.
Right. Remember when Vegeta lifted his fingers and blew up a city? Or was it Nappa? It might have actually been Nappa. Not even Vegeta.
It was Nappa.
So, yeah, blowing up a building, not too scary, but...
It's like, oh man, destructive power that we haven't seen since the likes of King Piccolo.
Right.
But where can you really go, you know? Like, there's only so much that you can show as a scale of destruction.
Right, especially at this point. So we get the gathering of the team, and you think Buu is going to be part of this team. And I think it's actually a pretty clever fake-out.
Yeah, they even show in the opening that Buu is there.
Yeah, he was set up, and they basically told you he's going to be there, right down to having him in the preliminary round, which doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
The preliminary round, I thought there was like one too many universes, so they were going to get rid of one of them off the bat. But there's no consequence for losing that one.
Of course not.
And then the way they deal with it all is Buu falls asleep after training, and he just, like, is asleep. There's no waking him. So Goku comes up with the idea of Frieza.
Yeah, there's also a gag of Buu training himself skinny.
Which, it's actually a decent design. I love Fat Buu, but if you were going to do a skinny Buu and make it serious, like, that was actually a pretty good design for him.
Yeah.
But I think it's interesting to bring back Frieza, and I'm glad they didn't just make him instantly good, because that would have ruined the character kind of for me. They make him
Yeah.
a reluctant ally, and there are a few times you don't know exactly what side he's going to be on, but
Yeah, sort of a wild card.
so I think it works really well, right down to him and Goku dealing the final blow in the very end. And we, at this point, we finally get the introduction of Ultra Instinct as well, which was hinted at arcs earlier. And the animation whenever Ultra Instinct is on screen is awesome. The music is great. The design of the imperfect Ultra Instinct, which I think has been kind of dubbed Ultra Instinct Sign nowadays,
Yeah.
is really good. The like black hair, but with like the shimmery silver outline.
Yeah, I really like that.
Less impressed with the perfect one, but it's not
Yeah,
bad.
it looks too much like a new form, and I really liked the idea of it not being a form.
Right, it's a technique. Like technically, Krillin could go to Ultra Instinct if he like mastered that kind of thing.
Yeah.
The universe survival arc is definitely another mixed bag. You get some cool action, you get some cool character moments, a little bit more of like Hit and the Universe 6 Saiyans, which I like Kaba, I like Kale, I like Caulifla, I like the introduction of their fusion form, and I like Topo. Oh, which universe is that? Is that 12?
I don't remember the number. It's Jiren's universe.
Yeah, Jiren sucks.
Jiren sucks.
Jiren is just a placeholder to make Goku stronger. And at first it's kind of interesting, but he just doesn't have a character. He is literally just power incarnate. And
Yeah.
that's kind of the problem overall with Super, I think. It's just more power.
Yeah, Jiren could have been really cool if like they did him as like a Superman stand-in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sort of because like that's sort of our generation's big question is who would win in a fight, Goku or Superman?
Right. And I like that it's not Goku that just is the one to beat him. Like, you actually do, in the end, get a team fight, which you don't see very often in Dragon Ball, ever. You get a few of them here and there, like you get Krillin and Piccolo, basically the Z Fighters versus the Cybermen and Saiyans. You get a mini one versus the Cell Juniors. You get a little bit of team action during the Frieza Force in the Resurrection F arc. And I honestly thought there was going to be a lot more of it here in the Universal Survival arc. But you get some. Like you...
Yeah, a little bit, I recall.
Yeah. Like you get Gohan and Piccolo working together. But other than that, you get a little bit of like Krillin and 18, a little bit of 17 and 18.
Yeah.
And then finally you do get 17, Frieza, and Goku against Jiren in the end. And I'm glad that it's Frieza and Goku dealing the final punch together. You see Goku flashing in and out of Super Saiyan, which I think is just like the coolest looking bit of Dragon Ball animation out there.
Yeah. This arc I really enjoyed as it was coming out.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was watching it with a friend, and you know, it was really fun to watch week to week.
It was, and it was the first time in a very, very long time we got to watch Dragon Ball coming out every week.
Yeah.
Which it's the first time I kind of accepted the Japanese dub as like it just is like this is what we're getting because there is no English dub right now. It is just this. So I actually really grew accustomed to the characters, how they're voiced in Japanese.
Yeah, I recall that when Super was ending, they were like playing the last episode in theaters in Mexico.
Interesting.
Yeah, Dragon Ball is like really big in Mexico.
Who would have thought? So overall, I would say Super. I think it's better than GT, but I think part of that was just kind of this is now new Dragon Ball. We're getting it. It's on a rewatch, it's very well animated because I saw it like fixed on DVD versus like the
Yeah.
imperfect airing of like the first half of the series. I didn't see a lot of mess ups by the time the last arc was going on. I think they,
No, they definitely picked up the quality.
yeah. So overall, I enjoyed Super. It's just there was a lot of problems.
Yeah, Super is enjoyable for the fights and all, but it doesn't it just doesn't have the same depth of character that the original Dragon Ball had,
Right.
which is saying something because, you know, I love Dragon Ball, but it doesn't have a whole ton of depth of character.
Not a whole lot. You get it here and there, but it's mostly an action adventure series.
Yeah, and it also lacks the passage of time that Dragon Ball had.
Right down to like the age of Goten and Trunks. They
Yeah, it doesn't make any
they
sense.
should not be as young as they are in this.
No.
Which is why I'm excited for the future. They have announced that Dragon Ball Super is officially coming back to TV. And I'm excited, though cautious, because Broly came out, Dragon Ball Super Broly, and
Yeah.
we both acknowledge it has problems, but I really enjoyed it. I think it was in your top 5 Dragon Ball movies, right? Or Dragon Ball Z movies.
But that's still not saying a whole lot.
That's true. Your top 5 were the ones that were like actually potentially worth revisiting, not just like, yeah, you got some fun action and that's the most you can say about it.
Yeah. I liked the lore building in Broly, but
Yes,
the action didn't really do it for me. It was a little too fast, I think.
that's fair.
A little too the camera was a little too all over the place.
Hmm.
A little too much reliance on 3D.
It had some
and,
of the 3D for sure, but it's only really in a few moments. But those moments are always noticeable in these movies. They're especially bad
Yeah.
in Resurrection F.
Yeah.
But there's one they really focus on in Super or in Broly that's really bad. It's when they're doing the Gallic Gun Kamehameha. That's a bad shot. And they
Yeah.
really focus on it. But overall, it was a good movie. It was a good time. And it kind of left a good taste in everybody's mouth for more to come. And then just like nothing more was coming for a while.
Yeah. It's kind of strange.
So we now get Dragon Ball Super Superhero, which is a weird name, but we'll see what we do with it. The fact that it's a superhero thing means meant it was probably going to be about Gohan. Though from what I've seen,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of Saiyaman in it, based on what I've seen. So it's
That's
actually
weird.
not about that. It's about like the Red Ribbon Army, and a guy who
Oh joy.
wants to be a superhero. Because he thinks like the Red Ribbon Army is the good guys and they can give him the ability to be a superhero. And it's got new androids in it, but I really don't know much more about it other than it's Gohan and Piccolo centered with some stuff with Pan as well. And everything I've seen looks very interesting. It's a 3D art style, which I at first was very against, but while it's still not perfect, it looks very nice for what it is. Definitely better than what the little bits we've seen in the past Dragon Ball Z / Super movies have been. So the animation looks good, and I'm willing to see this movie in this art style.
Yeah, 3D animation in Japan seems to be kind of taking off a little bit.
Yeah.
It seems the new Trigun is also going to be 3D, I believe.
So we talked about it a little bit, that this series or this movie seems to be being received very well, but it's getting about half the audience that Broly did.
Ah, that's a shame.
So I'm really afraid it's going to enforce Broly being like the standard, which granted had some good side characters. Like I really loved Chilai and I think it was Limon or something like that.
Yeah.
They're great
I don't
additions.
remember either. They are.
And you get some like space opera stuff with Broly, which is fun. So if they're gonna go that route, I hope it's that and less of just like more Super Saiyans, more punching.
Yeah, which is kind of a weird thing to ask from Dragon Ball, I guess, but
Truly.
especially modern Dragon Ball.
Yes. But like, from what I understand, and this is a theory because again I haven't seen it. I keeping up with the story of the manga that's going on currently a little bit, with like Moro and there's another one going on now, but I can't remember his name. But it's giving more, like Moro was like a wizard essentially, so we get a little bit more magic in the Dragon Ball universe. But I think it kind of turns into a Cell arc by the end. So we'll see how that goes. I guess it's fun because you get more of the Z fighters in it apparently.
I hear Vegeta got a new form.
Yes, so he got a form called Ultra Ego, which is like,
yeah, I know nothing about it.
It's like the reverse of Ultra Instinct. And you see kind of like the idea of it when Vegeta tries to tap into Ultra Instinct in the Universe Survival arc, where
which was pretty funny because he's just trying to close his eyes and punch.
Yeah. Or he just like lets himself get punched for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "No, I'm going to punch back."
Yeah.
Which is a very Vegeta move. So you kind of get that. You get the Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego. So it's tapping more into the aggressive nature of fighting, where Goku is tapping into like the defensive, like dodging aspect of fighting. So I feel like eventually they're going to lead into like a fusion of the two. Like Ultra Ego Instinct Vegito or Gogeta or something, which could definitely be interesting. Like, why would you give them opposite forms if you wouldn't fuse them together at some point?
Yeah. The weird sparkly blue form is weird.
Yeah, I feel like they tried something and it just didn't quite work. It was like Super Saiyan Blue refined or like perfected or something like that.
Yeah, and it basically just pulled him up to Kaioken Blue level.
So good for him for not accomplishing anything.
Yeah. A part I did like in the Universe Survival arc is like when Jiren is like taunting Vegeta and talking about, "Oh, you just haven't, you don't know what it's like to be alone or whatever," and Vegeta's like, "Oh, word?"
And you also see Vegeta use his fighting prowess to actually start kind of predicting some of Jiren's moves. So he gets a couple good licks in right before he's taken out, which really just showed how good of a fighter Vegeta really is.
Yeah.
Which, the only problem I have with it is like Goku's literally trained in martial arts to see those things as well.
Yeah.
So why couldn't Goku do it? But again, Goku's characterization in Super, not the business.
No. Vegeta's characterization is pretty good, but
by the time Super ended, Vegeta was actually one of my favorite characters, which has never been the case. I've never hated Vegeta, but I never got the hype behind him either. I already had Piccolo. Yeah. Why did I need Piccolo again?
I mean, at this point, it's all about how much he's grown.
Yes, and
pretty much.
He actually had, like, Vegeta's actually continuing to grow, even if it's slow bits and, like, somewhat sporadic. You look at where he is at the end of Super versus where he is at the beginning of Z, and you can see that it's the same character, but changed a lot in a good way. Where you look at...
truly Zuko-esque.
Yeah.
I mean, not nearly as good.
No. Zuko is a great example of how to change a character correctly over time.
Yeah.
Then you get Goku, who starts off as this child, blissfully ignorant of the world, happy to just like get stronger, but is pure good because he can ride the Nimbus. I don't feel like Super Goku could ride the Nimbus.
No, probably not.
He's literally like, yeah, I don't mind blowing up the other universes so I can fight some strong people.
I mean, to be fair, he didn't realize that the stakes of the tournament were going to be so high, but he also doesn't seem that bothered by it.
No, he really doesn't. Like, everybody's freaking out, and he's like, that just means we have to win. It's like, Goku, you know you're the bad guy now, right, bro? You wanted threats to stay away from Earth. You've literally doomed the universe if you guys fail.
I mean, he's still not as bad as 18 at the end there.
What do you mean?
Like, when 17 wishes for all the other universes to be brought back, and 18's like, but what about your boat, or whatever?
Oh, yeah. That's such a small... Really, that's such a small moment. I'm like, whatever. Go away. Like, obviously...
No, when I was watching it, I was like, 18, what?
What the hell? What the... You have a child. You want other people's children to die? Basically, Super had a lot of, like, additions that... A lot of the additions were good, but they kind of lost the way with the core foundation.
Yeah.
They forgot what made Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z fun, relatable, and kept us coming back. It wasn't the flashy action. It was the characters and good overcoming evil. There's not really a lot of good overcoming evil in Super.
Yeah, and I feel like if this were... I feel like if this were original Dragon Ball, Jiren would be a goofy character, and I think that would have made him a lot more interesting, because he's like a pastiche of a superhero.
Yeah, because
like,
the team he's on is basically a team of superheroes.
Yeah, and it would have been cool to like have him do like goofy poses with all the other Pride Rangers, and Gohan just go, "That's so cool." Yeah.
Oh god. Yeah. So like, oh man, I should have brought my Saiyaman outfit instead of this gi that makes me seem like I'm proud of my father for this. Because like they also like Goku also makes Gohan the leader of that team. Says like we're gonna follow his lead, and then instantly when they set up and Gohan says like, all right guys, let's stick together. Vegeta flies off, Goku flies off, 17 and 18 fly off, and Frieza flies off. So it's Gohan, Piccolo, Krillin, and like Roshi and Tien hanging together. And
oh right, Tien was there.
He gets one episode, and he basically it's like, hey, remember these techniques that Tien has? He's out.
Yeah.
Krillin gets like one episode. It's like, hey, remember how Krillin doesn't have a nose? He's out.
Yeah, it would have been really cool to like have Krillin win the whole thing, like rather than 17. I don't know why they went with 17.
I'm
that
not
makes no
sure
sense.
either. Like, it was kind of nice to see a 17 again. I've got no problem with him being there, but why did we give the win to him of all people?
Yeah. It would have been cool to like have Krillin win by when Goku and Frieza knock Jiren off, like Jiren is able to like get one last hurrah and like almost bring himself back, and then and like hold on to the edge of the ring and be like, haha, I win, now your universe is gone, and then Destructo Disc the bit that he's holding on to off.
But
that would have been really cool.
But Kendall, it's the hardest substance in the universe.
Right.
It's not just something that's going to easily break apart.
Of course not. Why would it break apart? Completely forgot about that.
Yeah. Oh my god. Also, the pacing in this arc, the last arc, are very poor. It's supposed to be 45 minutes, and it lasts like 50 episodes.
It's longer than that, I think.
It's like almost half, I feel like, of Super, and it's supposed to last 45 minutes. It's the Frieza arc paced even worse.
Yeah, like I said, I enjoyed it watching week to week. I can't imagine it's good all together.
No, I feel like you could make a supercut of it, supercut, and get something fun out of it. But as it is, eventually I'll probably sit back and rewatch the whole thing, like all of Super, because I've done it with GT. I think Super is still better than GT. But like with the way things are going, it seems like we might. Like, I'm interested in seeing where they take Super, because apparently the movie Superhero is happening parallel with some of the stuff in the manga right now.
Huh.
So I'm hoping we don't get a Broly arc and a superhero arc. That they just say, like, these happened, and this is what's happening with, like, Goku and Vegeta at the same time, kind of thing. That's what I hope happens.
Yeah.
I don't want them to remake the movies again.
Yeah, I'd really like Vegeta to just win in, like, a whole arc.
Just one.
Rather than...
Just one.
Because at this point, he is as much of a main character as Goku is.
He's a better character at this point. Like...
Yeah. But, like, Super is the Goku and Vegeta show. It's not just the Goku show anymore.
Right.
So it would be cool to have him, like, win something rather than stay his old role as the measuring stick.
Yeah. Measuring stick is a good term for that. There was like a couple like little topics I wanted to touch on before we finish up here, and it's kind of like what we want out of Super, and like with the success of bringing Broly back, because I would call it a success, because Broly was an awful movie character before.
Yeah.
And they gave him some backstory, gave him some depth, made him not just hate Goku because he cried.
Yeah.
Would you want to see other movie villains come back? Like, you love Cooler. Would you want to see Cooler now that kind of Frieza's more intermingled with, like, a returning villain?
I don't think I'd want to see Cooler again. Like, I was going to say Cooler as a joke, but when you actually ask that, no.
Like, I have mixed feelings about it, because, again, we do now have a little bit more backstory with Frieza. So I feel like eventually we've either got to write Frieza out again, or we've got to do some more. So I feel like you could potentially get some Cooler in there. But the problem would be you'd have to, like, power him up to Frieza's level.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he'd be nothing.
Yeah.
Or what about somebody like Janemba?
I don't know about Janemba.
Because the thing about Janemba, at least, is like you get some otherworld stuff, which we haven't touched on in a long time. Like, not.
Yeah, but to be fair, that's because most of the otherworld stuff in Z is anime original.
That's fair. That's true. But
and Super kind of operates on manga logic only.
Ironically, because it was way ahead of the manga.
Yeah, and because it's Toriyama again.
Right. Okay, what about, like, we've established...
How about Android 13?
Your favorite. More Red Ribbon stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, we need Android 13 back. You know, he's a meme right now, so...
Oh, God. I was about to say... Back in Dragon Ball, one of the first Dragon Ball movies dealt with, like, some demon stuff. What if we kind of hit some, like, demon world aspects?
That would be cool.
I think so, too, because you deal with different... like, a different power again. Because we've dealt with, like, some magic with things like Bobbity. We've dealt with alien stuff. Because, like, Boo is basically a magic villain, not a space villain. It's kind of a combination, but then we have, like, the gods and stuff with Beerus and the Kais. So it might be interesting to hit more, like, demon world stuff that we've not really... Like, we've established it exists, but not really a lot else.
Yeah, like, we've seen Deborah and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
we had Demon King Piccolo, which you said is a little played different in the manga, because in the manga you can become a demon.
or Mazuku, I believe is the term, which is not the demon, which is not like a demon. It's demon is like Goki or Akuma.
Okay.
So I think it's something entirely different that they just translated as demon for the dub.
That's fair. But yeah, we got like Deborah, the king of the demon world, but that's a lot of what we got. And like way back in Dragon Ball, we have like a demon king or like a vampire king who has like a demon army, something like that. In one of the movies.
Yeah, I believe that was filler 2 though. So
well, I mean, it was a non-canon movie.
Okay.
But
I'm also talking about that episode where Goku briefly goes into the demon world and they're talking about, oh man, I bet he would be able to fight the king.
Yes, is that where like they patch up the hole that's like set Ox King's castle ablaze again?
I don't remember. No, I think that's something different. I think it was before that, because it wasn't when Goku was an adult.
Okay.
I think it was when he was like training with Popo before, just before the time skip.
Kind of in the, like with like Master Motai Itu, or.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. It's been a while since I watched Dragon Ball.
Right. So like Dragon Ball has established demons exist, but we haven't touched on it in a really long time because we've gone full hard into space, essentially.
Yeah.
So it might be interesting to hit something else like that.
Space.
We have to pull back Goku. Like, he's obviously always going to be the main character, and
yeah,
I've accepted that. As long as like a couple other characters get a moment of glory here and there, I've got no problem with like Goku being the hero. But we've got to make him the hero again, and not just some like bumbling idiot who is also strong.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Man, going back to Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
People all the time are like, man, remember when Yamcha was cool?
No.
Like, no, he was never cool.
Never cool. Not once. Even in his introduction, he literally fumbles over himself because he sees Bulma.
Yeah.
He was always a joke. He really...
And he freaks out because a tooth gets knocked out.
Yep, because now he's hideous.
My beautiful face.
Yeah. This man, like, never wins anything. I feel like he might technically win a fight or two, but they are so inconsequential. Like, I think he might win a fight in the Baba tournament.
Maybe?
I think he might win one fight. But that's it.
Yeah, he certainly loses to Tien.
Definitely. Lost to Roshi. Lost to Goku.
Yeah, Tien really got a leg up on him.
Who did he lose against in... Oh, he lost to Kami.
Yeah.
He lost to a Cyberman.
He sure did.
He lost to the androids. I'm trying to think if he
sure did
fights. He's fighting some people in the other world, and then loses to Kid Buu, because of course he does.
Yeah.
Krillin technically does the best at that point. He throws a Destructo Disc that actually makes contact. Problem is, Kid Buu can regenerate and reattach himself to himself, so...
Yeah.
Useless Destructo Disc, but hey, at least they gave him one.
Yeah. Poor Yamcha.
He even got that, like, cool, like, Power Ball attack, or, like, Energy Ball. Spirit Ball?
Yeah, Spirit Ball.
Yeah. Which is a cool idea for an attack, it just doesn't go anywhere. Good for him. But
yeah, he uses it once. Twice if you count filler.
I was gonna say twice if you count one of the movies.
3 times if you count filler in one of the movies.
What's the filler one?
When he's fighting the Saiyans in the
Oh, that's right.
weird not time chamber.
Yeah. And I think he might use it in the baseball episode as well, or a variation of it. Because I think he uses it to direct the baseball. So good for him. Good for him for using a technique that, if you count everything, including filler and non-canon material, he uses like 4 times.
Okay, Yamcha, show him the technique.
Well,
it's my best SpongeBob.
Oh, okay. I was like, it sounds familiar, but I'm not quite piecing it together. First you do this, then this and that and this and that and this and then... Ah! Then you make contact with a tree.
Turn around. Stop. Double take 3 times.
One, two, three. I think...
Spin around. Stop. Stop on your right foot. Don't forget it.
Is there any like last little bits of Dragon Ball Super you want to hit?
Oh, geez. Well, I said I like Zamasu.
Yeah.
Not really.
Yeah, I think we covered most of the big moments, big things we like about it. I like that they're slowly starting to reintegrate things that exist in the World at Peace arc at the end of Dragon Ball Z. Like, we've introduced Pan back into it. We've introduced Bra back into it. In the manga, there's a bit where I think they're trying to build up some energy. I don't remember if it's for a spirit bomb or something else, but you get a brief moment of, like, Dende teleporting to Oob because he knows Oob has hidden powers, but Oob doesn't know it, so he puts, like, Oob's hand in the air to give energy out. So we're getting little bits of that arc coming back. Which Dragon Ball Super is due for a time skip.
Man, with all this talk of Super, I forgot Dende existed.
Yeah, he doesn't pop up a lot. I think he pops up at a couple parties, and there's a bit when they're recruiting fighters for the Universe Destruction arc where he has a brief conversation with Dende where they mention Oob, not by name, but mention him, and they mention, like, yeah, he's just a little too young, we can't really put him in a fight like that.
Yeah, right.
And that's, like, one of the only moments I can think of where they have a real conversation with Dende.
And considering Goten and Trunks' age, he'd, be a newborn?
Definitely very young, like 2 or 3, yeah.
And kids grow a lot in that time, and they have not grown at all.
No, like, think about in Dragon Ball when, just, like, in that series, how much Goku grows up, and that's before, like, the end of, like, the last Majunior bit.
Yeah.
Like, you don't really notice it on, like, your first time watching, but... Like, Goku, comparing him at the beginning of Dragon Ball to, like, King Piccolo, he gets taller, he grows a neck. Like,
he grows a neck.
He does. He doesn't have a neck at the beginning, but you see him grow up, and at first you might think, like, oh, it's just kind of a difference in, like, a little bit of changing art style. But it's not. It's, like, actually, like, aging Goku. Right down to... The first time I watched it, it seemed like a big jump to go from, like, that King Piccolo to Goku being an adult, or a young adult. But in reality, like, not as much time passes like you think it does, because Goku has grown up over the course of the series.
Yeah.
To the point where, like, yeah, his voice would have changed. Yeah, he would have gotten a bit taller. So it makes sense. Same thing happens in Z when you watch Gohan grow up. I think it happens a little bit more noticeably with Gohan. But you think of, like, him as this, like, toddler at the beginning of Z, and, like, where he's at the end with Cell, not including, like, the bigger time jump that happens between Cell and, like, the Majin Buu era. But Dragon Ball is known for these time jumps, but even without the time jumps, the characters grow, they get older, like, they change. Super didn't have any of that.
Yeah, sometimes the characters grow disproportionate to the amount of time that passes too.
It's true.
Like when Gohan was 11 and then 7 years later he was 16.
Did that happen?
It did.
Now, was like Gohan 11, or was he like 10 and he was 11 because he was in the hyperbolic time chamber?
I believe he was 11 because he was in the hyperbolic time chamber, but still.
Right. So maybe they didn't count that year.
Yeah, maybe.
And hey, other media has problems with that too. In
True.
Terminator 2, they mention how long, how much time has passed between like the first one and second one. And John Connor in that movie should be 7 years old, but he's like clearly 13 or 14.
Oh, yeah.
So, and that's a high budget movie. So we'll give that one a little bit of a pass. Like, it was just a little bit of like either miscalculation or factoring something else in that we, as fans, might have been like, are they doing this or are they doing that? Like, you know.
I still think it's funny.
It is funny, don't get me wrong. Yeah, so that's a big problem with Super, is just lack of character change and design and aging. Like, think of Bulma. Think how much she changes her outfit and hair between the beginning of Dragon Ball and the end of Dragon Ball Z. And
yeah, sometimes multiple times in one arc.
Yeah, and now think of Dragon Ball Super.
Yeah, just one design.
Yep, that's very out of character for her.
Yeah. Though it does treat her fairly well, Super.
Yeah, I've got no problems with how they treat Bulma. It's just like, they really just want the characters to look like how you remember them.
Yeah.
Cause,
except for Bulma. She looks nothing like how she used to.
Sure, but like that works at the beginning, but then they don't change her at all.
Yeah.
Like, Frieza looks exactly the same, which, sure, he was dead for most of it, but
yeah.
Goku, they give Goku and Vegeta a different outfit for like one arc. And
yeah,
they were actually like a kind of a welcome change.
They were. I really liked those outfits.
Then they go back to their regular stuff. In fact, they put Vegeta back in his like Cell Saga stuff.
Yeah, which is a shame because like one of the things I really like about Vegeta in Z is how like his character growth is shown physically through his outfit.
Mm-hmm.
How he gets less and less armor.
Like he's letting down his guard and
yeah.
Like, but alas. Yeah. Super basically tries to give the fans exactly what they want, but misses the point.
Yeah.
GT at least tried to bring some new ideas into the whole thing. So I guess it kind of comes down to like, do you want original ideas that fall flat, or do you want to play it safe and disappoint?
Great choices. Yeah.
You know? What I mean, obviously, like, what you really want is new ideas, fresh ideas for in-growth for your characters, which is why I'm looking forward to the superhero movie, because it's dealing with characters we haven't really dealt with for a while. While the Red Ribbon Army is not a new idea, I like that it's not Goku who's going to be dealing with them. Because I've heard that Goku and Vegeta appear in the movie, but have nothing to do with, like, the conflict.
Yeah.
Which is very welcome.
I would like Johnny Young Bosch to be a character. He played Super Broly in Fighters, and he screamed good. He screamed good. But given that Bleach is coming back for some reason, and also Trigun is coming back for more understandable reasons, I think he's going to be busy for a while.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know how hard it is to be a voice actor like that.
No.
But maybe he'll be able to. Who knows?
Who knows?
Well, I feel like we can probably wrap this up.
Yeah.
It was a good amount of Dragon Ball Super talk, more than we've given before. And we kind of gave our ideas of what we would like to see in the future, what we would maybe not like to see. I think it's probably a good idea to not hit too much more movie stuff, but
yeah.
if they do it well like they did with Broly, I don't know, maybe you could work some of it in. As long as we don't get more more and I guess we are getting more androids, but at least they're not Android 13. Do you have a outro for our Clean Burning HFIL?
Oh god. I had one, and I had an idea for one a while ago, but what was the name of the town in King of the Hill?
Arlington? Arlen?
People of Harlan, Texas, lend me your energy.
Kamehameha. Wah!